Welcome back to the Calgary Olympic Oval. Final 9 pairs tonight. This time it's the men's 1,000 meters of the 2018 long track team selections and Canadian single distance championships. Leo, lots to talk about here, lots of familiar faces.
Absolutely, some very quick skaters coming up. If you tuned in to watch the men's 1,500 meter event, you'll recognize some of these names. Vincent Deckert and Denny Morrison will be featured in the last 3 pairs. They were 1-2 in the men's 1,500. You'll also see a number of 500 skaters, likes of Laurence Beuil, Alexandre Saint-Jean, and Jacob McKenzie.
We mentioned guys like Deckert and Morrison. Deckert won the 1,000 meters in the selections at this event 4 years ago. We all know what happened to Denny Morrison within inches or feet of crossing the line when he slipped out on the final turn and then set up for some drama at the Olympics in Sochi. Now, if you're a guy like Morrison, how much does this thinking back to 4 years at these trials, what happened, sort of slip into his head?
You know, I'm sure he is looking for redemption here. These Olympic selection competitions only happen every 4 years, so this is a chance for him to make up for that unfortunate race 4 years ago. He has had a roller coaster of a career over the last 4 years, from those Olympics to a motorcycle accident to a long recovery. Now he's back near the top of the world. We'll get the top of his game.
We'll get to those skaters later on. A couple of the younger skaters to go first in the first pair. It's Connor Howe, 17 years old, against Jeff Ross, 21 years old.
2 young skaters here racing in their first long track team selections competition. Jeff Ross had a quick opener there, 16.7. Howe trailing a little bit. So Ross coming around that outer lane will get a big draft on this backstretch.
How much does that drag him on in a sprint like this, save some of that energy?
1,000 meter, only 2.5 laps, so a full 100 meters of draft is worth a lot of energy and time at the finish line.
Ross coming up to get the bell, 25.74, 25.77 for Howe. Big or very short difference between the two on that lap.
Absolutely, so Howe starting to gain ground. Expect him to finish strong. Jeff Ross, more of a pure sprinter, so this last corner is going to be tough for him.
Coming up the inside the final few meters, it's Connor Howe dropping both the arms. He'll set the fastest time, 1:10.47, 1:11.08 for Jeff Ross.
2 big personal bests for both young skaters here this evening. So a good way to start off the men's 1,000 meter at this Canadian single distance championships.
Connor Howe put up an 11th fastest time in the 1,500. He sits atop the leaderboard right now after just the 1 pair. Coming up on the track now, Antoine Roger from Quebec and Jess Neufeld from Manitoba. Roger, 21 years old, Neufeld, 24.
The 1,500 meter, which is also a mid-distance race, is often a good predictor of the 1,000. 1,000 obviously much shorter. It allows the opportunity for some sprint skaters to really shine, but 1,500 meter, very similar distance. Skaters need very similar physiology in order to win. 2 days ago, Canadian Championships 1,500 meter, Jess Neufeld beat Antoine Roger.
They are away cleanly. They were very close in the 1,000 meters at the trials in the fall, within 11 hundredths of a second of each other in 14th and 15th place. We'll get the first indication of what kind of speed they're carrying as they cross the tape for 200 meters, almost side by side, very even opening 200. Look at it, almost in unison there. 17.06 for Neufeld, 17.24 for Roger.
So those are the 2 fastest openers of the evening so far. Neufeld getting a good draft on that backstretch. Both skaters looking low and strong.
Almost stride for stride, almost, as I said, in unison as they come around that turn. But now it's Neufeld who's taken a bit of an advantage into the bell lap. 25.56 and 25.9 for Roger.
As we saw in the ladies' 1,000 meter, Those first 600 meters can make all the difference. 1,000 is short enough that the sprinters can really get going in the first part of the race and just try to carry their speed in the end as their legs start to blow up.
Roger trying to chase down Neufeld as they come inside 50 meters. He's not going to get him. It's going to be Neufeld. His time, 1:10.30. He goes fastest, 1:10.91 for Roger. Good enough for third.
So that's a personal best for Jess Neufeld. He moves to the top of the leaderboard. Antoine Roger just missing his PB by a few hundredths of a second.
There's confirmation as Mr. Neufeld, temporarily at least, perhaps permanently, sits atop the leaderboard in this race. There are still some pretty fast skaters still to come.
Absolutely. The skaters ranked in order of seed time. The fastest are generally seated in the final pairs, so things will only get quicker from here. There are 7 pairs to come.
Next up, Jacob Graham, Dawson Creek, British Columbia, coming up against Jake Weidemann from BC. Weidemann is 21, as is Graham, so guys both born in 1996. Weidemann out of Ottawa.
Jake Weidemann, the younger sibling of Isabel Weidemann, who has been a fixture on Canada's World Cup team over the last 2 seasons.
Graham's a beneficiary of that indoor oval in the Fort St. John Peace region of Northeast BC. So he skates there quite a bit, and now here he is competing for a Canadian single distance championships in the 1,000 meters.
Through that opening 200 meters, Graham leads the way.
Look at that split time, 16:46 for Graham, 17:37. Fastest opening 200 meters go to Jacob Graham right now.
The fastest men we will see today will have sub 17 second openers. So Jacob Graham right on pace among the fastest 1,000 meters.
And they come up to the bell. Graham looked like he went a little bit wide, still under that fastest time at 25:73 lap time, 25:72 as Weidemann closed the gap just a little bit.
Watch out, Weidemann coming out of that inner lane. He's gaining ground. Graham will get a bit of a draft though.
We'll see how he can maintain it. It looks like the tempo slowed down for Graham. He's just got to bring it home. He has had the fastest time through the first 2 chime checks, but here comes Weidemann closing the gap. Looks like Graham is still going to take it. 1:10.18 goes to Weidemann as he pipped him at the line. 1:10.35 to Graham. Good enough for third place.
What a finish from Jake Weidemann. Skating a personal best. Takes top spot on the leaderboard, just eking out Jacob Graham. That was a strong last lap.
Look at that, just 11 hundredths of a second separating the two. As Weidemann came on strong, he put in a 1:11.35 at the trials in the fall. 17th place in the 1,000 meters.
As I was saying earlier, that opening split by Jacob Graham was very quick. Under 16.5 seconds for the first 200 meters.
Coming up, we have pair number 4, Dan Carruthers from Ontario, Daniel Dubreuil from Quebec, from Lévis, Quebec.
So it is Dan and Dan in the next pair.
Clean getaway. That's Carruthers with the down start. As Leo, you've mentioned, it's something American skaters brought over from the inline or the track world.
Absolutely. The idea is that the skaters are already in a forward position right off the line.
Looks like it's Carruthers by 300ths of a second, both under the time set by Weidemann, though, 17:04 and 17:07.
Don't forget, Weidemann finished strong on that last lap. His last lap was 27.0 seconds.
Duplay gets a bit of a draft down the backstretch as they make the change. Looks like he might make the move on the inner lane. A little bit of a wobble, but he keeps it right side up. Duplay did fall in the 1500.
So Duplay looking for some redemption with 1 lap to go. His lap time 25.4, Carruthers 25.8.
Now they make that last exchange. Both of them negative split. Weidemann will see how much of that lead they can maintain down the stretch. Weidemann really came on late. It's still Dubreuil. Carruthers chasing him down. Dubreuil looks like he's going to take this pair. We'll check the time. 1:09:03. He goes fastest. Carruthers 1:10:44 slips to fifth.
That's our first sub 1:10 time here this evening at the Canadian Championships 1,000 meter. Daniel Dubreuil taking the top spot on the leaderboard.
Moving right along now, Daniel Dubreuil, the time to beat Weidemann. Saw his lead only hang on for one pair. We'll see what the next one can bring. It's Tyson Langelaar and Sam Deckert from Manitoba and Alberta, respectively. This is pair number 5 of 9. Some of the bigger names, Denny Morris and Vincent Deckert, still to come.
But up next we have two young skaters. Tyson Langelaar, still a junior. Look for his name at the Canadian Junior Championships and later the World Junior Championships coming up through the rest of the season. Sam Deckert, also a young skater.
Similar skin suits. Keep an eye on the armbands. Deckert with the red, Langelaar the white.
Armbands are like apples, white on the inside, red on the outside.
Langelaar was 10th in this distance at the trials in the fall, and they get away cleanly. Deckert was 12th in the distance at the trials in the fall. Less than a second separated the two. We'll see how they're doing at the first time check at 200 meters. It's a very close opener, but after 200, 17:22 goes Langelaar, 16:77 goes Deckert.
Watch out for this opening, this crossover. Sam Deckert coming around the outside. He has to get by Tyson Langelaar. Deckert has the right of way, so Langelaar may be letting up a little bit to let his pair pass.
Everybody gets into the right lane, though, as they come up to complete 600 meters, the first full lap. The lap time, 25:39, 26:06 for Langelaar. So it looks like Deckert's the one who held on to that speed going over the top.
Deckert off to a flying start. He has a third of a second on Daniel Dubreuil through the first 600 meters of the race. You can tell he's starting to tighten up as he enters this outer corner.
Dubreuil is just on his warm down right now, pretty close to the finish line there. We'll see if he maintains his lead as Deckert and Langelaar come to the line. 1:09:82 for Deckert. He goes fastest by 100th of a second. 1:10:38 for Langelaar. He sits 6th.
Deckert looked like he was tightening up and slowing down at the latter portion of that race, but he managed to hang on enough. He now leads with 4 pairs to go. My mistake.
Pair number 6 is on track, just about set to go. David Larue from Quebec. Richard McLennan, 26 years old, from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. One of the guys who's been around here for a little bit.
Some new blood, some old blood here. David Larue, another one of these young skaters just recently coming on the scene. He started long track speed skating last season. So every race for David Larue seems to get better and better.
Larue finished 4th in the 1,000 meters at the fall trials with a 1:08.79. McLennan was 7th with a 1:09.22. Larue on the inner, McLennan on the outer doing the down start. And then away cleanly are these two skaters. Current time, Deckert's 1:09.82. Just 100th of a second behind is Dubreuil with a 1:09.83.
This will be an interesting race as Richard McLennan has a faster opener than David Larue. And McLennan starting on the outer, that could mean that we might have an issue on the crossover, but it looks like Larue really getting it going with a mid-16-second opener.
16.54 for McLennan, 16.68 for Larue. Look at that draft that McLennan gets down the backstretch as he moved into the inner lane. Looked like he might have kicked a cone there. Does that do anything, Leo?
If he'd kicked the cone in the inner lane, it might have been a problem. Kicking the cone on the outer lane, it might He's probably okay, but we'll see if the referees have anything to say about that.
25.32 for Larue, 25.39 for McLennan. These guys both top two fastest as they got the bell. Let's see what they've got in the final 400 meters, just within a couple hundred seconds of each other.
We have a close race underway here. David Larue right on pace for a personal best. If he keeps this next lap under 26.5 seconds.
Larue's going to take the pair as McLennan fades the time. He goes fastest by almost a second, 108.85, 109.48. McLennan hangs on. He has the second fastest time.
So both skaters starting very quick. David Larue just missing a little bit on his last lap as he was chasing a personal best, but it's still good enough to take over first place with 6 skaters to go.
Larue in first, McLennan, and then Sam Deckert. Quick changes atop the leaderboard. Every pair seems to go that little bit faster. We'll see what's up next with Alex Boisvert-Lacroix and Denny Morrison. We spoke of what happened in the trials 4 years ago. Here he is trying to get another podium spot. He was second in the 1500 here. He was second in the 5000 a couple nights. He now wants to move to the top of the podium.
Absolutely. He's probably thinking of that 1500 meter from 2 days ago where he was second. So he'll be looking to either equal or better that here in the 1000.
Morrison, gold medalist in Vancouver in the team pursuit, along with Lucas Mikowski and Mathieu Giroux.
This really is an elite pair. Denny Morrison, list of accomplishments starting in the outer lane. We've named a few of those. But the guy in the inner lane's no slouch either. Alex Boisvert-Lacroix. He was the winner of the 500 meter at this Canadian Championships just a few days ago. He's also a 2-time gold medalist from this fall's World Cup season, so he's getting fast at the right time. And look at this, he's got a big lead through 200 meters.
Boisvert-Lacroix, 16.29, 17.39, over a second between the two. Let's see how Boisvert-Lacroix can hold that speed. You mentioned his 500-meter prowess. Let's see what he has in the 1000.
I predict that will be the fastest opener of the evening. Boisvert-Lacroix off to a raging start.
Morrison just trying to keep touch, trying to skate his way into the race. He's done it a few times. We'll see what happens as they come to the bell. 600 meters now, 24.95 the lap time, 25.18 for Morrison.
This will be one of those interesting finishes. Denny Morrison, mid-distance skater, only gains ground in the last part of the lap. And look at this as he comes around behind Lacroix. And he's going to pass him as they enter the last corner.
Little speed wobble there from Morrison. He has some work to do trying to chase down Boisvert-Lacroix. Hanging on, trying to get to the line. It looks like he'll take the pair just barely, though. 108.61, 108.76. Morrison leaves it late, but moves into second place.
They go 1-2. Morrison trying to catch Boisvert-Lacroix in the last corner. It just wasn't enough. As Alex Boisvert-Lacroix takes the top of the leaderboard on the strength of his first 600 meters. These skaters racing for a spot on Canada's 2018 long track team. Canada has 3 quota spots for the upcoming games. There are no skaters pre-selected in the 1000 meter. All skaters must achieve the Speed Skating Canada time standard of 108.01.
Boisvert-Lacroix was 5th in the 1000 at the fall trials. Now he sits atop the leaderboard with 2 pairs remaining. He moved ahead of Morrison, who was 3rd at those trials.
I mentioned that Speed Skating Canada time standard. Currently, only 3 skaters have achieved that mark. Vincent Deckert, Alexandre Saint-Jean, and Laurent Dubreuil.
Next up is Jacob McKenzie from Ontario, Alexandre Saint-Jean from Quebec. Saint-Jean is 24, McKenzie 26.
Expect a really good pair here. Jacob McKenzie, former short track skater who made the switch to long track last season. He's been putting up some very good results.
Very even race through 200 meters as they come to the first time check. 16.6 for Saint-Jean, 16.84 for Mackenzie.
Alex Saint-Jean so strong in the 1,000-meter. He is a 500-meter specialist, but compared to most 500-meter specialists, he has enough endurance in his legs to last that little extra bit, which carries him across the line in the 1,000.
Coming up to 600 meters, it's Saint-Jean leading the way. A lap time 25.04, just 4/10 off of Mackenzie. Let's see what he can do to chase him down. Boisvert-Lacroix was the 500-meter specialist who faded a little bit. Let's see what Saint-Jean can do to try to chase down that time. 1:08.61, the time to beat.
Jacob Mackenzie skates in short track boots, fairly unique for a long track skater. He was never able to get used to long track boots, as Saint-Jean is going to take this pair by a long way.
Saint-Jean chasing the time of Boisvert-Lacroix. He comes to the line. He goes fastest. 1:08.52, 1:10.81. Alexandre Saint-Jean closing down that gap in the final 400 meters.
So with one pair to go, it's two Quebecers on the top of the leaderboard. Alex Saint-Jean and Alex Boisvert-Lacroix. Denny Morrison's currently sitting in third.
Saint-Jean was second place at the trials in the fall in this distance. The one man who beat him is in the final pair, and that's Vincent Deckert against Laurent Dubreuil from Quebec. Deckert wins the 1,500 meters a couple days ago, wanting to add the 1,000 to his resume. He, as I said, he won the 1,000 in the trials for Sochi 4 years ago.
Vincent Deckert, world-class talent in these mid-distance races, 1,000, 1,500 meters. He's also world-class talent in track cycling. He used to hold the 1,000-meter record in that sport. They also call it the kilo.
Saint-Jean just skated past us with a fist pump to the crowd, giving him a round of applause. Now it's Dubreuil and Deckert. And they get away cleanly. Dubreuil was fourth in the 500 meters a couple of days ago.
Think back to 2 pairs ago, Alex Boisvert-Lacroix and Denny Morrison. Boisvert-Lacroix sprinter, Morrison more of that mid-distance skater. We're going to see a similar thing here as Laurent Dubreuil, a pure sprinter, really taking it out early.
16.12 for Dubreuil, 16.67 for Deckert. Half a second almost in front is Dubreuil, but can he hold on to that speed? We'll get an indication in just a little bit when they reach 600 meters.
Look out, Deckert finishes fast, so expect him to gain ground throughout the rest of this race, but he had a little slip there. Let's see if that costs him.
Looks like the gap is closed up a little bit. The lap time 24.77 for Deckert, 25.05, and Deckert now looking like he's making his move.
24.77 is the fastest 400-meter split we have seen this evening.
Both of them negative splitting. Alexandre Saint-Jean, but Deckert seemingly skating into it. Dubreuil looking like he's just trying to hang on. As they come to the line, Deckert, he added 1,500. Can he add the 1,000? Yes, he can. 1:07.67, 1:09.01 for Dubreuil. He slips to sixth. Vincent Deckert, 1,000 now. 1,500 meters a couple days ago. 2-time Canadian single distance championships here.
So Vincent Deckert will revel in this victory, but he will be looking ahead to a couple months from now.
We'll find out his future on Wednesday the 10th, but all signs look to Vincent Deckert being in the mix for being one of those names we'll see announced.
Absolutely. Important to note that no one is guaranteed a spot on Canada's 2018 long track team. The official team will be announced on Wednesday night here in Calgary, so stay tuned for that announcement.
And there is the final leaderboard. 2 Quebecers in second and third. Alex Boisvert-Lacroix, 1:08.61. Alexandre Saint-Jean, 1:08.52. And top of the podium, Cumberland, Ontario's Vincent Deckert, 1:07.67. Stay tuned. We'll have the podium presentations and some quick interviews. But for Leo and myself, we will be back with you tomorrow at the same time. 5 Mountain, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Women's 5,000, men's 10,000 meters, and that will wrap things up. But for here, I hope everyone watching at home has a very good evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Here come the cranes. can do it. Maggie, you change your camera position to the other there? Podium? Did you save it as a setting or not? 7, 8, or 9? Whoa, not that one. Okay. So let's do that. What do you want for Vietnamese?
At this time, we would like to welcome Katrina LeMay-Doan, two-time Olympic gold medalist, to present the podium for the 2018 long track team selections and the ladies 1,000-meter Canadian single distance championships. Winning the bronze medal with a time of 1:15:47, Callie Chris. Winning the silver medal with a time of 1:15:37, Kaylin Irvine. And winning the gold medal with a time of 1:14:50, Heather McLean. Congratulations. Félicitations. And now a quick interview with Heather McLean, if she'll stick around. Congratulations, Heather.
Thank you.
So your speed in that race was very apparent. Is that one of your favorite things about skating?
Yes, definitely. Going fast is fun.
And now you're provisionally qualified for the Olympics in 2 distances. How are you feeling about going into Pyeongchang?
I'm excited to be able to have 2 different opportunities to race. I think to get as much experience I can in that environment will be great.
Good luck, Heather. Join me in congratulating Heather. And CEO of Speed Skating Canada, to present the podium for the 2018 long track team selections in the men's 1,000-meter Canadian single distance championships. Winning the bronze medal with a time of 1:08:61, Alex Boisveld-Lacroix. Winning the silver medal with a time of 1:08.52, Alexandre Saint-Jean. Winning the gold medal with a time of 1:07.67, Vincent Deckert. Congratulations, félicitations. And thank you to Susan for presenting the medals. Thanks, guys. And now a quick Q&A with Vince. Congratulations, Vince.
Thanks.
So at your last Olympic trials, you were just coming on strong and just getting really good at speed skating, and now you have lots of experience, lots of World Cup medals. How did this trials feel?
It was different, definitely, from the other trials. I mean, I can't compare the two because the last time around I didn't even expect to qualify, and this time around I really wanted to prove that the success I had in the last 4 years wasn't a fluke, and I knew how to perform under pressure, and I think I did that today. And coming in as one of the stronger contenders, I felt that I needed to show that.
And now that your selections are over for the distances you were the best at, how are you feeling?
I'm pretty relieved. It was a good competition. I'm glad to see that people were able to step up, and it was definitely fun to watch my teammates, even everyone getting PBs and everything like that. It was great to see people do that at trials under this kind of pressure and attention.
Join me in congratulating Vince.